Now let's move forward. So here you can see that we will convert our images into a NumPy array, as you can see here, np.array image1. Similarly, we will use cv2, that is OpenCV, and a function called cvd color. What this will do is, this will convert my image into a grayscale image. So image1 is our source image. We are converting into a NumPy array, and then we are converting into a grayscale image. Similarly for the image2 also, we are converting into a NumPy array. Image2 our is a destination image, and then we are converting into a grayscale image. Here you can see that I have also created a mask which is similar to the source image, the image1, and it will contain all zeros. This image will be stored as a NumPy array and it will contain all zeros. Let's run this and create our mask and convert our images. So here it has created an empty mask and also converted our images into grayscale. Let's move forward. So next what we'll do is we'll load the face detector and face landmarks predictor using the dlib. So here you can see that we have loaded the detector using dlib.getFrontalFaceDetector. It is already defined in dlib, the getFrontalFaceDetector function. Similarly, we'll use the shape predictor, which will be loaded using the shapepredictor68 facelandmarks.dat file. After loading these detector and predictor, we will store the height, width and channels of the destination image using the image2.shape function. Other than that, we are also creating a new face, that is np.0, and pass the height, width and channel. Let's run this cell and create the empty image with zeros. So this cell has completed. So our empty image has been created, which will be used further for face swapping. Now this is the most important part. Here you can see that firstly we are working on the face 1, that is the source image. In this source image we are creating a function which will detect the landmarks using the predictor function and store them. So first we need to pass the image to detector, then that object will be used to extract the landmarks using that predictor. Then storing the extracted landmarks points x and y into the landmarks, as you can see here, x and y. And we are going to segment these into the triangles. So for that we are using this points equal to np.array and convex hull. Similarly, we'll pass this convex hull and the mask into convex poly and apply a bitwise operator on the face 1 image. After that, you can see here that we are doing the triangulation. So the triangulation, we are using the bounding rectangle and pass our convex hull as we have created above. Similarly, we'll also divide it into a 2D using the subdiv function. Next, this subdiv function will insert the landmarks point also, as we have found above. Similarly, triangles also using the getTrianglesList, and then all this is stored into a NumPy array. So here you can see that the triangle is stored into a NumPy array using the np.array. Next what we'll do is we'll find the indexes of the triangles. So for t in triangles, we'll store 3 points and we'll store the rectangle indexes into these points. Next you can see that we have created an index point 1 where we have used np.where and we are storing the points where points equal to point 1. and all axes. Similarly for point 2 and similarly for index point 3. In the end, what we are doing is we are finding out that if index point 1 is not none and index point 2 is not none, and similarly for index point 3, then the triangle will be index point 1, point 2 and point 3, and we'll append the triangle into indexes or triangle. So this is the most important step to find out the triangulation of the images. We are working on the source image. So let's run this cell and complete this step. So as you can see, it's completed. Now we'll perform the same operation for the destination image, the phase 2. We are also extracting the landmarks for the image 2. So let's run this cell and perform the same operations for image 2 also, that is the destination image. The next step will be creating an empty image with zeros. Why this is important? Because it will be used for further processing for face swapping. Let's run this and convert new faces and new mask. Next is the triangulation of both the faces. Here you can see that what we are doing is we are creating a for loop in which we are trying to triangulate the first face. Here you can see in the first point what we are doing is we are passing a landmark point with the index 0. Similarly for point 2 and point 3, and all these points are further stored into a NumPy array. After that, we are creating a bounding rectangle which will bound the image, bound the face, and we are taking its coordinates x, y, width and height and store into a rectangle. Similarly, we'll crop the triangle from the image as we have already triangulated it, and next we will create the mask. Here you can see that we have created the mask using the np.zeros and pass the height and width of the mask. Next we will store all these points and the x and y values, that is the x and y coordinates, into a NumPy array in a variable named points. Next you can see here that we are creating a line space. Line space is required for the mask. So we are using the cv2.line function, passing the line space mark and passing 3 points, passing 2 points, point 1 and point 2. Similarly, for the second line we are passing the point 2 and point 3, and for the third one we are passing the point 1 and point 3. And then we are applying a bitwise operator here. As we have done the triangulation of the first phase, similarly this step, the triangulation of the second phase, is exactly same. Here also we are creating 3 points, saving them into a NumPy array, creating a bounding rectangle, and all the steps are exactly same as we have done above. In the end, we are warping triangles. Here you can see that we have used points, which is np.float32 points as we have already defined above, and a point 2 also for the second image. We are using a function called cv2.getAffine and it will transform both points 1 and points 2. Similarly, we are using the warp triangle, which will contain the warp affine cropped triangle, the crop triangle as we have found above. Next we will use the bitwise operator and pass both the warp triangle and the mask. Till here our images have been triangulized. Now next what we'll do is we will reconstruct the destination face. So we have extracted the face from the source image and we have deleted the face of the destination image. Now we'll replace the destination face with reconstruct the destination face using the CVT color and threshold function. Here you can see that we are using the CVT color function and threshold. Finally, we'll use the bitwise operator And here you can see that we are finding out the image to new face rectangle area and passing the image to new face and the warp triangle. Let's run this cell and complete this step. So what we did here we performed some of the operations similar to the destination image as above. After that, we have the triangulation of both the faces. We take the triangle of source face and we extract them. We also need to take the coordinates of the triangle of the destination face so that we can warp the triangle of the source face to have the same size. Next, what we will do is we will face swap. So once we have cutted and wrapped the triangles, we need to link them together. We simply rebuild the face using the triangulation pattern we have found above, with only difference that this time we will put the wrapped triangle around it. So here you can see that we are using the fill convex poly function and the bitwise function for this. Let's run this cell and face swap it. So it's done. Now the face is ready to be replaced, and now we cut out the face of the destination image to make space for the new face. So we take the new face and the destination image without face and we link them. Here you can see that I have taken the image of the with no face and the new face and we are adding it. So the result will be a new face on the destination image. Let's run this. It's completed. Finally, the faces are correctly swapped and it's time to adjust the color. So we need to adjust the color also in the source image to fit in the destination image. So on OpenCV, we have a built-in function called seamless clone. As you can see here, I have used seamless clone. What it does is it matches the destination image with the current image that we are using. So we need to take the new face created on the 6th step and take the original destination image and its marks to cut out the face. We need to get the center of the face. Let's run this and use the seamless clone function. Finally, we'll print out the final image, the seamless clone that we have created. Let's run this cell and see the image. So here you can see, here you can visualize the output NumPy image which we have converted using the pillow into an image object, and this is the final swapped image. This is the destination image swapped by the face of the source image. So with this we came to the conclusion of this project. So we started with downloading the pre-trained model for face landmark and downloaded the image from the internet that we worked on. We used CV2 and dlib for a lot of pre-processing, as you have seen here, for both the images, and we used different functionalities to make reach to the end, which is swapping the face of the source image with the destination image. So the scope for this project will be, this project can be used for learning and understanding different concepts of computer vision. It is a fun project. And this project can also be used to build augmented reality applications like Snapchat, etc. So next I'll show you how to create an application for this project. So let's move forward.